Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gamestack Podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. This is episode 112, Friar Tuck. Can you believe that we've done 12 episodes since our 100th episode anniversary?
And that's missing a few. But more importantly, what's with the name?
I'll get to that eventually throughout the show. My name is Vendertron, your co-host this evening. Also joining me is the wonderful Rick McVick. Hello, Rick.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. We're missing a third.
And we also have Shaline. Shaline? Oh, that's right. Shaline's not here.
We want to say why we think she's not here.
We wish we had a reason, but we don't actually know why she's not here. We assume the rumor going around the office, around the studio, is that she is having a nap.
That is such a Shaline move.
Yeah.
Fall asleep.
It's like nap number 2 of the day or something. But anyways,
I didn't ask how your week was real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt.
My week's been okay. It's been a little bit, it's been kind of stressful. There's been a lot of uncertainty with my projects that I'm working on. And so, yeah, it's been a little bit, I don't know. I'm glad it's Friday. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we're doing a show. And,
yes.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's too bad Shaline's not here, but all of you lovely listeners have to deal with Rick and I tonight. And you know what the old adage is, mom's away, the cats will play. So
she finally responded.
Oh no. Is she coming?
She can
certainly pop into the show at any point.
I told her to.
Anyways, welcome all. One and all, happy Friday. Pull up a chair, make yourselves comfortable, make yourself a drink, make yourself a snack, because Rick and I are going to deliver you a great show tonight. Before we get started, we do want to let you know that the show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget, if you are listening live, you can host the show right on Twitch. You can also shoot us a follow if you haven't already done that. Tell your friends about the show. And if you haven't already done so, join our Discord, the Chat After Dark. Rick, how can people join the Discord?
They can go to the link right below moi and click that, and they'll get right into the Discord. 5 seconds, you're with the lemon, and then now, never mind.
Yes, I've switched. So today is 50s cocktail day.
Is it?
Yes. Earlier I had a martini, and this one is a Negroni, which you could ask whether or not is culturally appropriate in today's times. But there we are. It's a little bit spicy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave the cultural thing for later. So anyway, they can click that link below me, or they can send us a message on any social media platform, or give us an email asking to get on the Discord. I don't have a mute button.
This is what happens when Shaline's not here.
Finally, we can let our freak flags
fly. I'm going to undo my pants. And just
I'd undo mine if I were wearing it.
Just let it all out. Who joined the Discord this week?
That
it's
would
like
be Wild Wonder Wolf, Crazy 12, and Crazy 1210. In the chat, Van Sylvan asked, "Where's the Nuka rum with that Coke Zero?" I can't speak when I'm sober. I'm not gonna drink during a show to butcher it. But yeah, welcome Wild Wonder Wolf and Crazy 1210.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, we had some the Discord's been super active this week. And
it has been.
Yeah, it's been really, like, all of the channels have been really active this week. Also, we're wishing Frankie a very speedy recovery. She posted that she's suffering from COVID right now.
Oh, that ain't no
So,
fun.
but fully vaccinated and ready to take on anything that comes her way. So we wish her a speedy recovery. But yeah, we do have some news for all of you lovely listeners. We're also going to take you through. Nope, we're not going to take you through GameStock. And I'm not even going to bother trying to explain why. We're also going to. We're also going to talk about what the community is playing, and then Rick and I are going to talk at some length about what each of us are playing, and that's going to be a show. So,
Yeah.
So buckle up, boys and girls, because this just in. Take it away, Rick.
Well, we're going to start it off with some somber news. Stephen Wilhite.
Yes.
Stephen Wilhite, the creator of the GIF, has passed away at the age of 74. Now, I say GIF because I believe that he said it should be pronounced as GIF, or was it GIF? Either way, it's not necessarily game related, although I feel like anybody in the meme game nerd community owes a lot to the GIF as a way to express ourselves when words are not enough.
Rick and I can have entire conversations just through GIFs.
Yes, we dedicated today in GIF Wars to Mr. Wilhite, and boy, his legacy will live forever on the internet. That's for sure. I'm sure in some good ways and some bad ways, but yeah, I mean.
Well, I mean,
where would we be without the GIF?
Right?
GIF?
People have written their entire master's, PhD theses on the cultural impacts of the GIF, right? Like, it's such an impactful part of our culture. It's totally rampant through every part of the world. Everybody uses GIFs. And I believe that there is a GIF for every emotion, every expression, which is oftentimes, I think, Rick, why you and I often use GIFs instead of writing something out. So
absolutely, you know, and he said that the dancing, you remember the dancing baby GIF? The baby that's spinning around and dancing.
Yeah.
Apparently that was one of his favorite GIFs that was ever created. And that was created in 1996. That's how old that is.
1996.
Yeah, that's way back in the day.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
I didn't even know that GIFs existed until 2010?
Well, technically, so I'm going to read this little blurb about the creation.
Okay.
So this is from the New York Times, an article by... don't know because it's probably at the Amanda Holpuck and Neil Vidger. Jeez, I'm done with the names today. In 1987, while Mr. Wilhite was working for CompuServe, the nation's first online service, he led a team of engineers who revolutionized how people could share video clips on the internet. The format they created was a type of compressed image file with an ease of use that made it enduring. They called it a GIF, short for Graphics Interchange Format. So it was started before I was born. So there.
That's
but yeah, so our internet GIF hats, you know, post a GIF in the GIF Wars chat and Discord in honor of Mr. Wilhite. So yeah. Moving on to something horrific, something horrible. There's no way to segue into this. You know how we all hate Mad Catz third-party controllers?
Yes. Terrible.
Yeah. So they've stepped up, and I don't even think this is third-party. I don't know. This is not third-party. So this is an article by Matt Patches. Thank you for the last name. And this is on Polygon.com. Xbox has unveiled 2 custom controllers for the Xbox Series S and Xbox just the Xbox Series S there. It's it's in honor of Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles, and they're furry. They're furry controllers.
Come again?
furry. They have hair on the controllers. Like, can we pull up a picture of these? Is that do we have B-roll
Cueing
for
the
that?
picture. Keep talking.
Um, they're like all the cheesy Dorito fingers
Cheesy
on these
Dorito fingers.
controllers and all the hand sweat. Like you play Elden Ring and you're playing on these control, your hands gonna get so hot. Like I just
Hey guys.
Oh
hi.
my God, Shalene's here.
Hi,
Thank
I'm
the
so
Lord.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I got home and I was like, I'm gonna take a little nap. And
I
then
knew it.
I
I
woke up
knew it.
to a text from Rick that said, "Hey Dingbat." Um, so here I am. I'm so sorry, you guys.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. You get yourself situated. Rick and I are just talking about the furry controllers.
Oh my goodness, they
Have you
look so unhygienic, don't
Thank
they?
you. I was afraid you'd be like, I want them.
No.
They look very unhygienic and
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
so
listeners. I'm really sorry.
These
Go
are
ahead,
these
carry
are
on.
the furry controllers. And while we talk amongst ourselves, I'm just gonna get the rest of the stream operational here.
Okay.
Um,
But oh my gosh, it's all broken.
it's okay. I got it.
So yeah.
under
I
control.
don't know who asked for these. I don't think anybody did. But yeah, they feature a golden portal ring shining on the surface alongside an embossed Sonic the Hedgehog 2 logo. It's long fur. Like it's not fuzzy like what's the word I'm looking for? Like suede or velvet. You know what I mean? It's not like that, which honestly would probably be worse. It's like 3/4 of an inch long fur on these things. And I just feel like disgusted. Really?
Okay, so from an immunological perspective, this is absolutely a disaster.
They're horrifying, aren't they?
There's no way to clean this. There's no way to clean them. Okay? And bring them back to the original state when you bought them. But
so gross.
The other thing is that it's not even like, okay, so we had some pretty bad video game hardware designs in our history. Like if we think back on, well, the original Xbox, for example, was heavier than a fruitcake. And then there was that weird console in the 80s that was supposed to be like an arcade, but it was like triangular and it had like wooden trim and a giant wheel. It was terrible. The N64 with that unusable third knob that, or handle or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
But then enter the fuzzy controller, which I think takes it
there.
just trumps all of them. It's so terrible. It's awful. Okay, the only redeeming quality that it would have or could have is if they actually used real fur. And then I would be like, this is classy.
No, no, never.
I mean,
No.
imagine a controller with like pure mink.
No.
Anyways. Yeah, I don't.
I'm
What
so
were they
horrified.
thinking? What were they thinking, you guys? What were they thinking when they made this? Who, how, like, it was a bunch of executives sitting around the table, and they said, "Okay, we've got this idea, fur on the controllers," and everybody around the table went, "Yes, that's a brilliant idea."
I don't know. I feel like this is like I honestly think this is more of a collector's piece than a playable piece. But I feel like
Sure.
in 25 years, what's that gonna age into?
It's gonna be like a raggedy old Furby sitting in
The
a
fur is gonna
large
get all
Rubbermaid.
chunky.
Yeah.
Like-
And like I work auctions, so I know what old stuff looks like, and that ain't gonna age well.
Yeah. It's
Hey,
gonna be all tattered and matted.
do you know what else is aging well? Isn't aging well? Whatever. I don't know.
Is he
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, he's doing a thing. Okay.
I'm doing a thing.
I got it.
Grand Theft Auto 5 came out 8 years ago in 2013, and it's been chugging along ever since.
Really?
Yeah. It's thoroughly past dead horse and it's into zombie horse territory as far as the beatings are concerned. But on February 4th, 2022, Rockstar finally broke their silence and confirmed the sequel's existence, which I think we all kind of expected was coming at some point. There's been no other information regarding this thing except it's a coming. However, Twitter user Onion00048 has said that he's played the game and he's hinted at some of the details. Now, you can take this for whatever grain of salt, whatever. And I'm just going to read you what he tweets. So sorry, I've been silent for too long. I've been gathering a lot of information from several different sources and we'll share it soon. I can say that a decent amount of it is next GTA. The game has been there. He's saying Grand Theft Auto 6 has been in development since 2012, but went into full development in 2014. Okay. Apparently, there are 3 protagonists again in the main game. The game is single player. Yep.
Single
it's
player.
It's single player split into 2 time periods. So instead of, full 80s or full modern, it takes place in 2 timelines. Chapter 1 and 2 take place in 1985, and chapters 3 and 5 take place in modern times.
Okay.
Those are the deets, at least. Let's see here. According to the source, the game will be set across several locations, such as Vice City, Liberty City, Rio de Janeiro, and Havana. Chicago apparently will make an appearance.
Ooh. Okay, let's assume that this is true. What do you think?
Sounds fun.
It sounds like a lot of freaking work to develop. Like, all those locations, 2 different time periods, so that's almost double the amount of assets. Like, depending on how much of it takes place in the ye olden days. Honestly, if it was Havana, like, I'd rather like a 1950s or 60s era Havana. Give me that for a while, because there's no game that gives me that. But Havana should be fun. I don't know. I haven't played a Grand Theft Auto since Vice City, really. I think
so we know that Grand Theft Auto historically has some sort of like drug mob deal undertones to it. So,
Sure.
Havana fits nicely.
Sure.
And Chicago also fits nicely
Very
into that.
much so.
Um,
All those places do.
personally, I would love to see 2 eras in the same game.
Yeah.
I think that would enrich the storyline beyond what I ever could have expected.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
To do like maybe flashbacks or
Right? Imagine like young Trevor versus older Trevor. And you play both and you make the decisions that you make in his past influence what happens in the future.
That would be really cool. Be really cool.
Did you both play Grand Theft Auto 5?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've got like 3 copies. I'm one of those people.
I played it like 8 times through, so.
I haven't played it that many times.
Oh, the best is when you play Trevor and he wakes up in a parking lot in his underwear.
It's so funny.
And he's
or like when you just log on and suddenly you're at 5-star wanted level. Just love it. But I have completed the story at least once, maybe twice.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's a game that you beat.
Yeah, that was back when I still beat games. Yeah.
One of 10.
Back when you
No,
could...
I've beat lots of games, Rick. This only started like in the last 2 years, the not finishing things.
I know.
Ever since they introduced seasons to games, it's
yes.
Stopped. Yeah.
Yes, that's when it happened. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't do the seasons. So you can enjoy games and your life.
We don't do the seasons. It's like full circle, It's Shaline's season.
You got to pick and choose. That's the hard part,
Suddenly we're all debutantes.
Yes.
Well,
I was just thinking about like making my debut.
Yeah, exactly.
The hardest part I had with Grand Theft Auto was I was playing it on PC, so you can't drive with a mouse and keyboard, and you can't shoot with a controller. So like, I had a controller on my desk. So when I got into a car, I'd grab the controller and drive with the controller, and then when I got out, I'd switch over to the keyboard and stuff, and it
Mhm.
was just too clunky, and I didn't like the way that I couldn't get into it. I
See,
wanted to, but
the last time I played GTA 5, I had downloaded a mod to be able to use my wheel to
Oh, I
drive,
remember that.
and then I could never go back to it because of the wheel, and I can't. The only way I can play GTA is on a console with a controller, not a fuzzy controller,
not a fuzzy controller.
furry
Yeah.
controller.
You know, it's always an option to just plug a controller into the old PC.
That's what I was saying. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about for vendor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, vendor. Just put a
Can you
controller
use
in
your
PC.
PS4 controller?
I
You
don't think
can.
so. Oh, can you?
Yeah, you can use a PlayStation controller with PC.
There we go.
PC.
Mhm.
To PC checks to PlayStation controller.
Well, I hope that this is true because GTA is a significant franchise in my video game life /
Same.
career. I've played all of them. Every single one of them. There were times when I would sit in front of our old Compax Perserio PC with the giant tower and the giant monitor that was like that weird sort of like, it wasn't turquoise, it wasn't hunter, but it was some sort of variation of the two green plastic that was supposed to be like revolutionary in the computer world because it wasn't the traditional gray. And I would sit downstairs in the basement and the desk would be on the cold concrete and my feet would be freezing, but I'd be playing GTA for hours. Yeah.
GTA was considered contraband in my household.
Oh.
I had to hide
yeah.
San Andreas from my parents, specifically my mother. She found it. She destroyed the disc.
Aww.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. She found it and it was gone. And I'm pretty
On
certain
this
she broke
show,
it.
on this show, you do 10 years for that.
Yeah, so I ended up getting it again. But I had to hide it. I went for a good long while of hiding it and playing it without anyone's the wiser. But yeah, it was that was contraband in my household. But
GTA 4 was my first GTA, and I was an adult when I played it. So
wow. Yeah, man, you missed out on all of the like the
You should
Vice
really
City
play-
hiding it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Vice City was the height of GTA, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You get you start questioning yourself when you see like those big pixelated Candy Sucks breasts on the wall or on the building that you light up, and you're like, your adolescent mind is like, whoa.
And I can never go back to playing GTA Vice City because
it's so terrible.
I want the beautifulness of that game to remain in my mind as it was when I played it. I can never go back to it because it will ruin that memory forever.
Have you thought about trying the remasters?
No, I haven't.
I just don't feel like it's going to be the same in my head. Like, it just won't be the same, I don't think.
Like that, you know what? GTA Vice City was the start of my sim game career because I would take a taxi and I would do fairs. I would do fairs for hours.
Yeah,
So
I never
fun.
did that. We would try to steal the Apache helicopter and go crazy with that one from the military base.
I really liked stealing a police car and responding to calls in GTA 4. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I know that Grand Theft Auto 5 has had such a long run, but it is interesting how the conversation always evolves to the older GTAs rather than the GTA 5. I just think that's interesting. It's the staying power of those particular games in our memory. And, it seems to me that Grand Theft Auto 5 is pretty amazing, but it doesn't seem to have the same sort of, maybe because it's current, but it doesn't seem to have the same sort of emotional attachment to people as the past ones have. And maybe that's just because it's current.
10 years from now.
Yeah.
So Vaught in the chat weighs in, guys. He says remastered Vice City is actually pretty decent.
Okay. Well, maybe at some point, but anyway.
Something I want to look into, but I hope there's a GTA 6. But we've sort of Yeah.
So speaking of cars, fast cars, driving, and PlayStation, we're going to talk a little bit about Gran Turismo 7. Now, I'm a massive fan of the Gran Turismo series, starting with 3, going to 4. Those were the 2 that I really dug into the most. And playing the very long endurance races. You know, me and my buddies would stay up all night swapping around drivers. And we, I do like 10 laps, you do 10 laps, and we would do 500 lap races for 8 hours straight, 12 hours straight. I mean, we were hardcore fanatics of this game. I never did do the 24-hour Le Mans race because I really wanted to actually do the 24-hour stint. But anyway, so I was kind of looking forward to Gran Turismo 7. I was debating on getting it, but then I saw that they have microtransactions in this game.
Yeah, but what game doesn't have microtransactions?
Gran Turismo never did.
Oh.
But here's the problem. So it was kind of a thing in the game where the cars were not based on real world dollar amounts. You could grind away at certain races to get money. So there was one really famous one in Gran Turismo 4. You would do 2 rally races and you would get this Toyota car that you could then flip for like 200,000 credits. And you would just do that a bunch and you'd have a couple million credits pretty soon. And then you could go buy your, McLaren F1 or whatever it is that you wanted to buy, some race car. Well, the problem with this is they started basing it off of real world moolah. The last update slashed a bunch of the rewards that you would get for races. So you get less money for the racing that you do. So you have to grind more. And the cars are more expensive compared to how much you win. So, for instance, I forget, it's a particular McLaren that I was reading about that costs like 18 million in the game. Okay, it's roughly the same price as this particular McLaren in the real world. The problem is that if you were to buy the particular microtransactions to get the credits for it, it would cost you 200 real dollars.
What?
Yeah. So, for instance,
how did they calculate that out?
I don't know. It seems stupid. But just here's kind of how it goes. From a monetary perspective, the tiers in Gran Turismo 7 are really pricey. While the options start out at 100,000 credits for like 249, they spike upwards to 1999 for 2 million credits. All right. That's kind of how that goes.
That's really weird.
Yeah, let's see here. Gran Turismo's 2 million credit limit. Players need to fork out $214 of the real world money to get 20 million credits, which one of the cars costs 18 million. That's roughly $200 for a in-game car. And
how much
this has people upset.
How much is the Prius? I mean, that's what I really want to know.
So the reason this is a problem, in my opinion, is because that Gran Turismo was never really centered on, like, it was never really focused on your garage per se, right? Like when you play Forza Horizon or any of the Forza games, you kind of like build your garage and you have a bunch of cool cars. And that's kind of like the thing. It's collecting cars is a big part of Forza series, where Gran Turismo was definitely about collecting cars, but it was more so about you could take a car and build it in such a way where you could use it in every race that it was applicable for. So your collection would be a lot less than just a bunch of different cars in a way. So you could take you could take a Subaru STI, right? And you could build it for rally and you could just run the crap out of that for the entire game. Right. And it was one car, right? You would win cars, but they didn't matter. You were just winning cars. Where it got a little bit different is when you got into the maker or model specific races, like every car has to be a Corvette in a year, or every car has to be from Toyota, or every car has to be from 1970s or anything like that. That kind of expanded your horizon on your collection, but it was never about the cars. It was always about the racing. The racing always came first. And I think the problem with these microtransactions and the prices is it flips that narrative to like, now it's about money and the prestige, right? In a way where like you either had to play hours upon hours to grind for 18 million to buy this particular race car, or spend $200 of your real money, and that to me is not the that just isn't Gran Turismo's full that didn't ever seem to be their philosophy, and it's changed as of late. I don't have a problem with microtransactions in games per se. It's when it's detrimental to the standard player base and the progression of the game is when it's a problem. And I'm not going to buy it because of this, because this is stupid. This is just dumb. And I just think it's a huge problem. So,
Sulior in chat asks if that car gives you an advantage in the races. And I have the same question.
as far as like, well, yeah, I mean, it's a McLaren, like I think it's the McLaren P1, which is a hypercar. They're really fast and really grippy. So yeah, I mean,
I can find it.
If you want to do like high-end race cars or high-end races, you have to have the money to buy a high-end race car, like a touring race or something like that, especially like S-Class or something. And they've gotten very expensive.
So this is the car here. That's $200.
That's a really pretty
not that
car.
particular one. It was $3 million, but yeah, the McLaren P1 is. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I feel like if Shaline won the lottery, that's what she would show up to work in.
I don't think I could be trusted to drive a car.
Imagine how fast. Your 1 hour commute would be like 20 minutes.
I don't think I could be trusted to drive a car like that.
Have you ever driven like in Nevada, they have those you can rent a McLaren and do a racetrack. Have you ever done anything like either of you ever done anything like that?
No,
I've never done
certainly
that.
not.
When Carlo and I went to Palm Springs over Christmas, we drove to Vegas for 3 days and we were pretty close to doing that. But we didn't have time. So
I want to apologize. I think I got my numbers wrong. I don't think there's a car that's 18 million. So
yeah, but how much is it real dollars? That's what matters.
The P1, I don't think. I don't know. McLaren.
Well, anyways, while you do that, I do want to say that I think that I don't like how marketing is going. There's this new, like, marketing has evolved in the last 3 to 4 years to really take money from people, and a lot of money. And I don't know if you guys have seen recently this speculation that Apple may be bringing iPhones as a subscription service instead.
Nice. Isn't that what the phone companies already kind of do?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Phone service better be included.
Yes and no. As someone who pays for their phone outright, and is a hardcore Apple user, I don't know how I feel about that, but it kind of goes in line with what you're saying about how microtransactions are taking advantage of people.
Yeah. Real quick. The McLaren P1 GTR was purchased for $3.4 million, and the P1 LM variant went for $3.7 million. Real world. So that is reflected in the prices they are in the game.
Who has money like that?
The people who are currently fighting another country right now. And Dubai. Dubai has Bugatti Veyron police cars, dude.
It's stupid. It's so stupid.
But the car is pretty nasty.
Here I'm like, it's Friday. I'm going to treat myself to some McDonald's because I can afford it.
But it's perspective, right? I mean, for some people, it's as simple as McDonald's. And for some people, it's as simple as a McLaren P1. I mean,
yes, and my pet polar bear that I have.
If I had a cool 3 mil, would I buy a P1? No, because I would probably be the stupid idiot that's like, I'm going to go buy an Alfa Romeo GT-V6 that's like from 1985, and that'll run for about 2 days until it dies. And then the rest of the $3 million is going to go to fixing it.
I don't know. A purchase that big, you got to get some sort of return. Like
I don't. If you got $3 million to spend on a car, you've got plenty of cash to spend on anything else.
If I had $3 million to spend on a car, I would just hire somebody to drive me around.
No,
Nah,
Van Sylvan. I don't mean Tim Hortons. No, Tim Hortons is not good. Also, I would like to say that Tim Hortons is American owned now. So.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sucks.
It's owned by.
Get them
it's
freedom
owned by.
nuts.
It's
that
owned.
didn't work.
Oh no. It's,
Sorry.
Shaline is.
What is happening? I should have stayed sleeping.
You are asleep. You are asleep.
Tim Hortons is owned by Wendy's.
Really?
No
It's
kidding.
not even a Canadian company anymore, but it's branded Canadian. But here we
I
are
just had
in
Wendy's
North America,
tonight, and it was terrible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
terrible.
Tim Hortons is the kind of you need coffee to stand in line for coffee at Tim Hortons, and when you get it, it already tastes like it went through you once. So.
I hate this conversation in a way I cannot describe.
See, when we started the show, we started with the precedent that you weren't going to be here. So we turned off all of our filters.
I will say watching this video of the P1 going around this track really makes me
I'm sorry. Let me just get rid of that.
God, I miss playing Gran Turismo. Old strong Rick. Anyway, so that's Gran Turismo 7.
Okay.
The next piece of news is right up Shalene's alley, and that's about the Witcher teas. Oh, the Witchers. The teases.
Come again. Okay, explain.
Well, there was a post somewhere. I don't know where. It doesn't really matter where because it's everywhere now.
Yeah, they posted on their website originally.
A medallion, a picture of a medallion covered in snow from the School of the Cat.
Yeah, interestingly enough, this was actually confirmed to be the School of the Lynx, which is new to the fiction. So yeah, that's the second article in the.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I don't feel prepared to talk about anything right now.
Okay. So there was no mention of the Lynx school at all in any of the Witcher lore you're familiar with?
I don't remember that in any of the books. So I don't. Okay. Yeah. If you check out this Eurogamer article here that I linked in.
Yeah.
Okay. Some mysteries should not be so mysterious. CD Projekt Red Global Communication Director Robert Malinowski told me. I can confirm that the medallion is in fact shaped after a lynx. So yeah, and then it says later on that the Lynx school does not exist in Witcher canon, not in the books or the games or anywhere.
So this is brand new.
I am really hopeful that what I want from this game, and like I love the Witcher lore, but I haven't ever finished a Witcher game. I know, shut up.
Shocking.
Was this before or after Seasons?
Both, because I didn't finish The Witcher 2 before Seasons, and then I didn't finish The Witcher 3 after Seasons. So to be fair, I'm much more invested in the books and show than I am the games.
Okay.
I probably played 15 hours of Witcher 3, maybe 5 of Witcher 2. But what I want from this as yet untitled game, I don't know if they're considering it Witcher 4 or if it's going to be a new, it seems like it's going to be a new thing, leaving behind the story of Geralt. And I would like to see a situation where I create my own Witcher.
Yeah.
And
like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, like I customize my own Witcher, just like you customize a character in Skyrim or any other RPG style game, and make choices that affect the world. You know, that's what I would like to see out of this game.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun. I also never finished any Witcher games. I always
Yeah.
started them in earnest, but never finished them.
You played a bunch of 3. You played a lot more of 3 than I did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've never played The Witcher. Looks like something I would probably enjoy, though.
They're pretty neat games.
I put it in the same category as Assassin's Creed of games that I want to play but don't have and will probably never get to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You've never played an Assassin's Creed game?
No, I have
Wonder-
not. Isn't that weird?
You would
Huh.
love Black Flag.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You would
Also, that
just
one
love it.
that one that's set in Egypt, I would love that.
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
totally love that.
I think you would love Black Flag.
Mm-hmm.
You should play Black
You
Flag.
should really play Black Flag.
Speaking of Black Flag, and I don't want to like sort of commandeer the news, but I've been watching like trailers of Skull and Bones because I am just so excited about this game. I think it's gonna be not what I expect it to be.
Probably
In
not.
what way?
I think it's taking on more of a modern Sid Meier's Pirates kind of style. All of the
Really?
gameplay that I can find online seems to be strictly naval combat.
Yeah,
So you're
that's
in a
what it
boat
is.
on the
Yeah.
seas and you're taking on other boats. It's not going to be like Sea of Thieves where you can hop off your boat and go explore an island. And that's a bit of a downer for me.
Oh. See, the way that I pictured, and I guess because I played Black Flag, I always pictured Skull and Bones just the naval combat from Black Flag. So that's not surprising to me. If you played Black Flag, if you would play Black Flag, you would look at the Skull and Bones stuff and go, "Oh yeah, I get it. I get why they're doing that because the naval combat in Black Flag is just so fun."
I mean, the combat is fun. I do enjoy combat in games. But I equally enjoy the world.
Yeah.
I'm one of those weird people that likes to look at the leaf that,
No, that's me too.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
that Richard in asset development in Studio B spent 3 days making.
I think that it would behoove them to put in explorable land. It definitely would. But we'll see. But that's why I think you would like Black Flag because it's both of those
Yeah.
things. There's a ton of sea combat and whaling, but then there's also a ton of exploration.
Black Flag, if you want to compare it
So
to another
good.
game, I would say it's the most like The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I feel like it's the
I'm gonna
Wind
play that
Waker
one.
sequel that we all waited for.
Yeah. Oh, Blackbeard, man, that game's so good.
I
That's
love
the only
piratey
Assassin's Creed
shit.
I ever beat.
I mean, stuff.
Ship.
Don't
Ship.
you just
said ship.
don't you love piratey stuff?
I love piratey ship.
Oh, by the way, you guys,
What? Oh,
What's
he's gone
he
again.
done?
Is he gonna get the vacuum again?
I don't know. That sucks. Ooh, the book.
it came. I'll save this for my gameplay, but
It's
we
so
can
pretty.
talk about it later on. I think that is our
Yeah.
last news story for today. Yes, Rick?
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
We don't have any game stocks for you.
My bad.
Yeah.
We didn't do them because math is a wonderful thing. Sometimes it's hard for people. And so we don't have a game stock segment. But what I do have for you is a streamer spotlight. And this week on our show, we would like to shout out a wonderful streamer that I've been following for quite some time. He goes by Mike Pope 65. And Mike is an Englishman. He's got a dry sense of humor, although he calls it not humor. And he's sort of a gaming geek that loves sci-fi, nerdy stuff, and he really plays a lot of games like that are super chill. His streams are very chill. He plays a lot of what is that game? Galactica Battle. What's that game that you were playing, Rick? Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh yeah.
He plays a lot of that. He plays a lot of City of Villains and Heroes and things like that. Super chill streamer. We do recommend that you go check him out. And that is our streamer spotlight for this week.
Nice.
Yeah. Next up, we do have what the community is playing. And I do have some screenshots for you guys to see. And I'm gonna have to cue those up.
Let's take a peeky
I'm gonna have to cue those up. Give me a second here. This first one that you're seeing on the screen is there you go.
Oh, the prisoner.
Yeah, so this first one is from
The First Step Sites of Grace.
Fire and Gasoline. And they had posted 2 photos. One was a darker one, so I didn't actually include it because it was a little bit difficult to see. But they say, I bit the bullet, officially hooked on Elden Ring. It's a beautiful game. So
Now, see, the prisoner is going to be a fun little class to play. So get pokey with that sword and learn how to parry. You should be all right.
This next one comes to us from Alex. Oops.
Uh-oh.
Crap. No,
could probably hit
they're
your
gonna
arrow
be all
keys,
off.
yeah.
They're gonna be all off now. How do I go to the next one?
You could use your arrow keys.
No, you don't understand, Rick. It's like
Yes, you can.
pre-programmed. This next one's from Alex. It's a little bit off the screen. But she posted this one and she says, so my hubs was talking big game about Mario Kart, and I was known in grade school as the comedic relief of Mario Kart. Last night we played and, well, let's just say I'm feeling pretty darn good now.
First place.
Nice.
First place. Yeah. And this next one comes to us from, it's also another Elden Ring shot. Yeah. And this one is from, let me scroll through.
He's right
Moxie.
off
Moxie 86.
Ah,
And they're saying,
is that a vagabond? I can't tell. It's
they're
different
saying
armor.
that Elden Ring can be both brutal and beautiful at times.
Mhm. Yeah,
They
that's
also
right
sent us
near the
this
First
one.
Step Sites of Grace on the shore. Shaline, you should be familiar with that shore.
I am. Those are the Lovecraftian horrors that I carefully avoided.
The land
If you'll
octopi.
turn to the right and go down the beach a bit, you'll find an invisible creature and a tall swordsman.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I like that beach. It's a good sunset.
This next, damn it, this next one is from Frankie. Frankie says, I periodically like to tessitail cats in Cats Organized Neatly. This sort of thing calms my brain down. Also, they meow and purr as you click them.
Aww. That's so cute. That looks
So.
like a cute, relaxing puzzle experience.
Mhm. This one here comes from RTZ13, and he says, okay, this is not my screenshot, just a screen grab from someone else. Also, RTZ, if you're listening, you should get them to listen to the podcast. I know we share loads of lovely and beautiful scenes from Horizon Zero Dawn, but one of the best parts was digging through the history of the old ruins.
Mhm.
Shaline and Vendertron would
Mhm.
be the perfect game for you two to both stream together, reading every single plate, also discovering the lore, which is really good from a science perspective. So
Yeah, it's really cool. The lore, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
gotta
Before we
finish that
tackle
game.
that, we need to finish Life is Strange True Colors.
I know.
And also It Takes Two.
I know. I forgot all about that. This next one comes from Frankie again. She says, since I have the vid I'm playing cozy games with controller, this is Calico, which is about running a cat cafe, and it is weird and nice. Baking is magic, she says. So she shrinks apparently, and then this kitty sits in the mixing bowl. So,
Oh.
and for our audio listeners, it's a picture of a tiny human being holding up a giant bag of salt, and there's a
Yeah, the
huge
cat in the mixing bowl.
huge cat in a mixing bowl, and looks like there's another bag of sugar and then a bundle of cinnamon sticks, and
I think it's awfully risky how much the sugar and salt packaging look alike.
Yes.
I feel like that's the recipe for a disaster.
Maybe that was deliberate in the design of the
I
game.
think so.
Because you know how people always get those mixed up,
It's gonna
right?
be a puzzle. Oh, nice.
So this next one is Horizon Zero Dawn. Another beautiful rendition of RTZ13's screenshots. He says
That's
another
so
Horizon
pretty.
image similarly to Red Dead 2. They've done the snow physics very well.
The Colorado Mountains.
This is the kind of thing that would get me playing the game because you know what, you guys, as an avid hiker and somebody who's climbed 9 mountains in the last 12 months, I know what it's like to sit on this spot here and like look out at those mountains. It's like you can't describe it until you're up there. Yeah. Like there's been times where I huff and puff to the top and I get there and I look and it's not what I expect it to be and I just start bursting out in tears because it's just so emotional and beautiful and yeah. Okay, so this next one is this one is Captain Canuck. And they said the last time I played a Pokemon game was Silver. Now picking up Arceus for the first time.
Nice.
How the times have changed, they said.
Yeah, that's different. A before and after.
Yeah.
It's a little different graphically.
And then the last one on the list, which you guys can't see, but I'm going to pull up on the screen here, is this one. And this is my addition to the screenshots and stories this week. I've discovered voxel art. Are you guys familiar with
what
voxel?
What is a voxel?
Well, that's a type of car.
A voxel is a 3-dimensional pixel. Voxel art is the creation of worlds or objects or whatever in 3-dimensional form with pixels. Nice. And so I built this little cafe, this adorable little cafe with voxel art, and it's a free program. It's called Magica Voxel. There's other free programs as well. But it was super chill.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Every single little detail, the edge work on the building, the colors, the switches, the lights, everything I made completely from scratch. So yeah, pretty. Just wanted to share that.
Very, very nice.
Those are our screenshots and stories. How can people post or share a screenshot so that we can shout them out on the show, Shaline?
Well, they can do that by looking in our Discord, which they have joined, and we have given the instructions on how to join.
We have.
They can, in our Discord, go to the screenshots and stories page and post their screenshots.
Excellent. Yay. Now we need to talk about what we're playing. Rick, what have you been up to?
Elden Ring.
Sorry, I accidentally hit the button twice. Take it away, Rick.
Elden Ring.
Oh, no dear.
Yeah, so been obsessed a bit. And so they nerfed Snaf pretty bad, and so that build was no longer viable, and I had to figure out a new build. So I was watching some videos and seeing what people did with their astrologer, and the one person was talking about a build called the Meme Beam, and basically you climb up to this mountaintop and you find this dude, and he has a spell called the Comet Azure. I think it's called the Azure Comet Sorcery.
Azure?
What?
Is it maybe Azure?
Azure, yeah, Azure, whatever, Azure, Azure, the blue friggin' gem. How do you say it?
Azure.
So Azure casting.
Nice.
It takes a while because you have to like power it up, and then it's this beam that hits constantly as long as you hold the sorcery button. And so the build consists of getting this guy's armor where you get the spell. You can also do a quest to get this guy's armor, which I went and did. And you have this ridiculous hat on, but it allows the beam to do more damage.
Tell me more about this hat.
It's literally a giant crystal. a green
I
crystal in your head,
want it. I want it.
and you look like a doof. And then now I have this giant arcing cone hat that's even bigger than.
Ooh.
I am not playing Fashion Souls at all. I am just merely going for function. So anyway, I got the armor, got the beam, and then I got this azure staff that also gives what is it? I think it does more. I can't remember if it was the gravity. No, it does. Anyway, it does something I forget. But anyway, no, I got a different staff from another sorcerer's mission, and that does more damage, but it costs more magic FP, right? So anyway, then I had to go find this ulcerated tree spirit, kill him, and I get this thing to put in my physic that gives me 10 seconds of unlimited FP.
An ulcerated tree spirit.
An ulcerated tree spirit. It's like this goopy, ulcered looking worm thing that shoots fire.
Okay.
It's not fun to fight at all. So I beat that, got the armor, got the staff, upgraded the staff, got the beam, and oh boy, you just like kind of spawn into a boss fight and hit that physics. So you've got 10 seconds of unlimited FP, and you just beam this thing, and you watch the health bar just melt down to nothing. Now, it's a little bit harder to pull off on bosses that move around a lot. So you kind of have to be good with timing, and then also using your summons to like take your aggro so you can cast it.
Right.
I also have that in conjunction with Ronnie's Dark Full Moon, which does frostbite damage. It also makes the enemy more susceptible to magic damage. And so, yeah. The only thing that I didn't have was like a good sword. I was using the crystal sword for a while, but I just didn't have a good sword. And I was reading about this thing called the the Astal Wing. And the Astal Wing has multiple different like attacks. So it's got this one where the magic attack that it does, it's skill, you wave it in front of you and it puts all this little purpley Lisa Frank dust in front of you. And then it goes and explodes, and it does massive damage. And then the special, you press and hold your power move, and it does this like double slash that throws beams out in front of you, which also does a bunch of damage. And then just the standard power hit does beam throw. So like it's this ridiculous little curve sword. So I've been using this, and it's like this I kill everything. It's amazing, right?
Isn't it great when you find that one stupid, ridiculous weapon that shouldn't probably exist? Like the Death Tambo, for example.
Yes. So I'm really happy with this build. And I've changed a little bit with like better armor and stuff. And I was like, I think I can take these dragons on. So I went and I killed 2 of the dragons that were giving me trouble. Awesome. I went and did a fun little jumping puzzle in Khalid, the divine tower there. I got the particular rune powered up and did the little jumping puzzle in that little divine tower. So I was feeling pretty confident. I was like, I'm going to go try to tackle the capital again, because that's where I'm stuck. I need to get to the mountaintop of the giants to get certain things. And so I went to the capital, and I hate the capital. It's close quarters. Everything there is hard, and I hate it because I can't fight right. So I'm stuck at this little site of grace, and I run forward and I drop down this little ledge, and I'm like, I can either choose to go into a sewer or through this little room where I see something glowing. So I go into the room where I see the thing glowing, and this knight with a shield and a lance steps up, and I'm like, I hate fighting these things because their shield absorbs so much magic damage, and they just have crazy attack speed, and I melt quick. So I'm trying to fight this dumb little idiot in a room, and I keep dying. I'm like, wait a minute, why don't I just lure him outside of the room so I can like fight him in an open area where I have maneuverability, and that's where I shine. Awesome. So I run into the room, flick him off a bit, and then run out of the other side of the room. And there's this beautiful big open arena, right, that I can fight this guy in. I'm like, yes. So I run into this open area and turn around to engage the knight. And all of a sudden the ground starts rumbling.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
And this giant ulcerated tree spirit goes, "Brah!" out of the
Oh
ground
no.
and just starts going everywhere. And there's fire. And I'm like, and I run and I die. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do the same thing. But instead of running into the big open area, I'm going to run to the right a little bit and just kind of get into the smaller open area to not trigger said ulcerated tree spirit. So I run through, I aggro the knight, and I get to where I want to fight him, and I dodge to the wrong side, and I aggro the ulcerated tree spirit. I'm like, shoot. So I run and jump down into the sewers, and as I run, because you can do this loop to go back through the room where the knight was in, and I loop back through, and I aggro 2 rats, and I'm like, whatever. And I run past them and go up to these stairs and back into the room. And the knight is trying to get back into the room where, he originally was, but he's kind of stuck on the door. The ulcerated tree spirit does this move. I shoot a spell. The knight is dead. Awesome. Just have to worry about this tree spirit thing. And I'm like pinging the tree spirit as best I can through a doorway. And out of nowhere, there's 2 bastard rats sneak up behind me and go chomp, 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 dead.
Oh no.
So,
Or should I say, all right.
So I had night problems. Then I had night and tree spirit problems. Then I had night, tree spirit, and rat problems. Finally, I just ran past all of them and across the bridge and let it all go.
Sometimes you got to do that. You just got to run.
And then I fell in love with the capital because it opened up a bit more, and you were climbing tree. You do all this cool stuff, and I get to the boss fight, and I beat the boss, and I'm like, yes. And then stuff happens, and I get to the mountaintops, and I'm all excited because the mountaintops are snowy. It's beautiful. And then I see this bad guy, and I go zap with the big beam, and then he goes, "What was that?" And I was like, shoot. And I hate the mountaintops. The giants are hard. There's big, tall things everywhere that are evil and mean. And so I was running around just kind of exploring, killing big, giant, tall things. And I find this cave, and I put the stone sword key in this little lock thing, and the misty door goes away. And I was like, oh, spirit caller cave. Let's see what this is about. So I walk in, immediately get caught in a trap. I'm like, shoot. And so the only way forward is, through this dark area, and I walk forward. I put on my lantern, and there's this little snail thing, and it goes dingle, 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 and wolf spirits just out of nowhere, poof, 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 poof. And I'm like, ah! And I try to fight him, and there's multiple wolves, and they murder me to death. So I was like, all right, kill the stupid little snail before it dingle, dingle, dingles, and gets a whole bunch of these wolves around. So I was like, all right, so I'd go through the trap, run forward, and kill the snail real quick, and all the summons go away. Even the ones that were already there. And it's like, oh, a mechanic I do find. Okay, all right. So I walk through this doorway, find another one of those dingle, dingle, dingle things. I kill it real quick, and all the summons go away. I'm like, got this cave. So I go to walk out into this beautiful little wooded area, and there's wolves everywhere. So I start from a distance lobbing rocks at them. And out of nowhere, this samurai runs forward with his hand on the sword and goes, dead. And I was bleeding everywhere, and I was dead. So I was like, okay, all right. So okay, there's a samurai dude. When I see him coming, I'll meme beam. He'll be dead. The wolves will also come into the beam. I'll call it. It's a kill zone. Bottleneck him. Beam. Done. So I go to do that, and I start to summon the meme beam. But then a wolf lunges out of nowhere. Boof hits me out of the meme beam. The samurai comes up, slices me dead again. I'm like, all right, attempt number 5 here. We'll get it this time. I'll back up a little bit more before I do the meme beam, and I'll get it. Okay, got it. So I stay back. I pick off some of the wolves, and I was like, all right, there's enough wolves gone. I see the samurai coming. Meme beam. Dead. Got it. All right. So this time I can move forward a little bit, and I move forward a little bit, and I hear dingle, dingle, dingle off to my left, and I turn and I see all these wolves and another samurai, and I'm dead. All right. Attempt number 6. And I do the same thing. Go to shoot the first samurai with the meme beam, and somehow he misses it, and I'm dead. So I rage quit last night, and then that was Thursday. So Friday night is the first time I rage quit in the game. Or no, I did not rage quit. I'm sorry. This is where I rage quit. So attempt 7 or 8. I kill the first samurai, go to the second one, bum rush the jingle jingle snail, kill it, and all the summons go away. So there's nothing left. I'm like, awesome. I've cleared this out. I go pick up all the loot, and I walk, and there's a boss door. I'm like, okay, boss door. In these caves, there's always a shrine or whatever at these boss doors. I don't see as another site of grace, but that's fine. There's a shrine. So I set up, get ready, get all my summons ready. So I get through the door, spam X, summon my dudes, and I run off to the side, and it's this like ghostly looking thing, and we're fighting a bit. I try to meme beam him, but he's too quick. All right, fine, I'll use rocks and stuff. And I beat him fairly quickly. Sure. And I'm like, awesome, killed him, got through the cave, got him, and then all of a sudden, poof, another boss appears. So I was like, shh. I have
Game
one
is
vial
so
of health.
unforgiving.
I've got one vial of health left. All right, so let's do this. We start fighting. Everything's going all right. And then the dude does this move where he kind of rolls like a donut. And I
Like
dodge.
the sheep?
Yes, but bigger and meaner. I dodge. It touches my elbow and I die in one hit.
Oh.
And so I was like, it's fine. I'm going to spawn at the Shrine of Marika right in front of the door. And for some reason, it doesn't give me the option, and it puts me back at the beginning of the cave.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, I am done with the game tonight. And I put the controller down and I stopped. So cut to Thursday. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this cave. So I'm thinking, and I'm like, I don't really want to fight through this stupid cave, all these dumb little summons. So I'm like, what happens if I just run? Right?
Right.
So I drop down through the trap and I run past the wolves, and the wolves are like, what's that? And then I run past the samurai and he's like, what's that? And then there's another wolf in my way, and I dodge and roll and jump around him, and I get to the door and I hit Y and I get right through the door into the boss. I'm like, I should have did that last night, right? So like, I know what I'm doing now. Summon the things. I'm fighting the first guy. He's easy enough to kill. I get to the second guy and I'm like, all right, how am I supposed to dodge this dumb little roll thing? And I tried dodging like towards him, but past him as he starts the roll, and I dodge it. Like, yes, I got past the roll thing. So, and then he rolls right into my summons guys who have like full health, and they drop like instantly. So I'm like, dang it, he's just on me now.
Right.
So I'm fighting him and I'm doing all right. But then he does this thing where he jumps up in the air, gets super big, and then drops down on me and dead. It's like, all right, that's a new move I didn't see coming. Let's do this again. You spawn again. This is like my 15th time in this cave consecutively. Spawn again, run all the way through the cave like before, jump over, hurdle the wolves, get through the thing, summon my dudes, and this time I don't use the unlimited FP physic, but I do meme beam the first boss phase and kill him. And my dudes have pretty good health left. I'm like, all right. Before the second dude summons, I'm going to drink my physic and I'm going to meme beam him and set and kind of walk in such a way where my dudes follow me into the middle of the room. Right. So I line the guys up perfectly. The boss comes in. They immediately attack him. So he aggroes to them instead of me. And I'm like, yes. And I meme beam. Dead. Right. Got the second guy. Celebratory. Why doesn't it say I won yet?
Oh, no.
Third boss. It's like, it was just a little boss, and I killed him pretty quickly, and then I got 2 useless items. So I was like, I hate the mountaintops. So I leave the cave. I go up around this cliff. I find this fort, and I'm like, awesome. I'm going to go into this fort because I need to do that to get to the rest of the area. And I'm going through the fort, and I'm fighting these like glowy dudes, right? And they're fine. They're easy enough to kill. But then there's a glowy knight. I was like, okay. I hit him with something, attack him, and then all of a sudden he goes poof, disappears, and poof right behind me. He's like, dodge him real quick. And I kill him. Fine. All right. I get up on this little walkway and I look down and I see a tall knight with no shield just kind of chilling down on this little platform. Like, I can snipe this dude from up here. Phew. Cast my rocks at him, hits him. He stumbles. It does good damage. Then all of a sudden he goes, pew, disappears and goes boom right behind me with 2 giant swords and goes slash, 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 slash.
Oh, no.
Dead. Like, do the whole thing again. Get up to the top, and I like, this time I know where he's going to spawn. Hit him, and I run down to this larger platform, and he poofs right behind me. I dodge. We fight for a little bit. I dodge again, fall down a ladder that I didn't see into a nest of rats who kill me in about 5 seconds. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to mess with the knight this time. I'm just going to fight the rats. So I kept trying to do this little area, and I was like, I cannot do the rat. I can't kill the rats. I can't kill the big knight. I can't do any of this. Forget it. So that was last night that I stopped playing that. So tonight when I got back, I was like, I don't feel like doing that. I'm going to make a new character this evening, right? This is the start of my alcoholism.
Wait. This is before the show today?
Yep.
Man, you really are addicted.
So I created a hero character because I want to do like heavy armor, big weapon sort of thing. And I create my hero and I go to right where the gate is, Shaline, you know, the first set of ruins you kind of come to. And I loot one of the carriages and get this great sword. So I'm like, this will be fun to do. And I see that its power is an uppercut. So I'm like, okay. So I two-hand this great sword. I run up to this dude. I hit the uppercut. You know, I get into a stance, and then I hit power, and then it does this uppercut, and it sends this dude into the freaking air, like boom, dead. I'm like, oh yes. And so I'm just started this game in this camp. You know, there's that big knight with the shield and everything.
Yes.
Right? So I run around to the front after a little while, and I start to fight him. And I do the uppercut thing and send him flying, and he falls on the ground. I slash him a bit and like kill him in a second. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Meanwhile, the dude toots the horn and everybody descends on me. So I'm, you know, me and the hero, my chest is showing because I'm like, you know, what's the Conan? I'm like Conan, right? Yeah. So I'm like, bring it, guys. So they start to get towards me, like all crowded together, and I do the uppercut, and it sends 3 of them flying in the air. It's like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I just murder kill this entire camp with like no problems whatsoever. And I was like, this build is so OP already. It's just kills things. So I already cleared the wolf cave and the boss.
Nice.
I cleared that beginning cave. I tried to do the mine that's near there, but that's a little over me.
There's a mine?
Yeah, it's down in the lake area.
I haven't found the lake yet.
It's literally right next to the ruins. Tell you what, next time you log into the ruins, just walk south and you'll find the lake, and you'll be like, how did I miss this giant lake? Not the other lake.
The puddle, as you called it. Yeah, we're going to talk about the puddle later.
But yeah, the hero is just obliterating everything. It is so much fun to play something that's more just like larger and jargon. But anyway, so that's my ridiculous saga of Elden Ring.
I feel like that's a good time to segue into my puddle experience.
What just happened there?
My camera's on a stand and it fell over. Again.
Oh, that's so good. It's really great, Rick.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, that is, you know, that's what it's like to do a PhD. That's pretty much what it's like. If people ask me, I'm just gonna tell them to talk to you.
Yeah.
Play Dark Souls and then but your puddle experience, Shaline?
Yeah, so we'll get there. So I log in and I am really excited because, as you'll recall, last time I had upgraded my sword and I had gotten the wolf summon ability, and I was really excited to try all this stuff out, right?
Yep.
So I feel good about things, and I log in and I decide to go and remember there was a statue guy that I had found, and he sent out a beam of light.
Yeah. And
you had told me that I had missed something there. So I think, okay, I want to go find what I missed. What did I miss? So I go down there and I'm looking around, and once again, I kill those zombie guys that are there. They're not very tough enemies. They're very they're the Goombas of Elden Ring.
They are. They really are.
So I take these guys out and I'm looking around and I see this huge entrance to an underground thing. How did I miss this? It was like one step to the left of where I killed these zombie guys. So I'm really excited because I've discovered a new thing, and I go down there and it's like the catacombs, and I'm like, ooh, catacombs, that sounds fun. So I go in and I talk to this ghostly man who's sitting in a chair, and then the next room, it looks like sort of, vendor, to give you an idea of what this looks like, when you go in the caves in Skyrim,
Yeah.
and there are the little alcoves in the wall, and the Draugr come out of those little alcoves.
Okay. When you started describing this, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it looks pretty similar to that,
Yeah.
That's
actually.
exactly what I was thinking.
Except there's a single kitchen chair sitting in the middle of this room. And I'm like, that's really strange. Just a wooden kitchen chair, just standing by itself in the middle of this room. And I am incredibly suspicious of this room and this chair. Incredibly suspicious.
Right.
So I'm kind of creeping forward, and I read one of the messages that's been left, and it says, "Beware the left." I'm like, okay, so beware the left. So I go in and I'm like facing the left, and this little like gargoyle dude jumps on me from the left, and seconds later I'm bleeding out on the floor.
What?
Yes, that's what I said.
I said watch the left.
It's like walking into a town hall meeting.
It was horrible. It was horrible. So I make another attempt, and I go in there, and like there's two of them now this time. Somehow I aggro two of them in there. And I'm trying so hard to fight them, but they do this crazy bleed damage, and it's just it's impossible, and I'm freaking out. And I was already in one of my anxious times, and I thought, I'm not sure that Elden Ring is the thing for me today. Maybe I'll go and have a nice cup of tea or something. And my mom
because without tea,
yes, chaos and ruin. Everything is chaos and ruin. And I tell my mom, like, I don't know, I don't think I can handle Elden Ring today. Like, this is too stressful. And she's curious, so she's like, well, let me see, what are you doing? And I tell her, okay, so I found this catacombs, and look at this. And I take her back to the beginning, like, see, I talked to this ghostly guy, and then look at this kitchen chair. Suspicious, right? And I show her the little gargoyle guy, and he just steamrolls me again. And I think, okay, this time let's try and turn right instead of going forward to the kitchen chair room and see if we can explore something else. So I go to the right, and there's this room with these huge, beautiful doors with like the world tree on them. And I can't open the door. The door is blocked. And so I go to the left, and I'm feeling pretty suspicious of this room too, because it has like, how when you're playing something like Gears of War and it's a huge arena with full of waist high cover, that's how I felt about this room. Like I walked in, and yeah, and immediately I'm hit by an arrow from one of these little gargoyle dudes. So I'm doing the dodge roll and trying to get away, and another one comes running out, and I managed to kill that one. Nice. And I was so excited, and I was kind of freaking out, and my mom is laughing because I'm over there like, oh, I killed it. And the other one comes down. I do the dodge roll. I come up behind it. I kill it too. And I'm like, yes, I am unstoppable.
It's brilliant.
I was brilliant. So excited. And there's a couple of glowing flowers in this room, and I harvest them. And I'm like, oh, look at this beautiful flower. Let me just pick that flower. I'm feeling so good about everything, right? And so I'm going into the next room, and there's a note on the floor that says, look up. So I'm like, okay, look up. So I've got this. I'm going to look up. And before I get through the doorway, this plume of fire just comes sweeping into the room. And I'm like, okay, that's something to watch out for. All right, plume of fire. I'm still looking up, and I walk into the doorway and I'm looking directly up.
Oh, no.
Yes. And from the right drops down one of those little gargoyles on my head and just slaughtered me. So
Looked up in the wrong direction.
yes, I looked up in the wrong direction. And so we respawn again at the little site of grace in the beginning, and we go back, and those two gargoyles that I had killed are back alive again, and I'm so discouraged. And I'm like, hey mom, you want to see that wolf cave I was telling you about? She's like, I'd love to. Let's go see the wolf cave.
Oh my gosh.
So I abandon the catacombs, and I'm like, I hate the catacombs. I think I texted Rick, I'm like, Rick, I hate the catacombs.
Can we just acknowledge how supportive your mother is of your Stockholm syndrome?
Right. She's the best.
That I had the same exact experience going to that cave or the catacombs for the very first time of like, oh, there's a chair, and then so yeah.
That chair is like the most insidious thing, because you're curious about the chair.
There's more to be curious about that stupid catacombs.
I'm sure there is. Fun. One of these days.
You'll get there.
I leave the catacombs. I've abandoned my runes. I'm like, no, I'm just not. I'm not. And so I'm walking towards the wolf cave and bypass the puddle that I thought was the lake. And so we come up on the lake, and I'm like, yeah, this is my mom's like, this is beautiful. What a lovely lake. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. These two things like spit out toxic gas, but there's a turtle on the other side. So we come up behind one of the toxic gas bag things, and I decide to stab it because why not? And I kill it pretty easily. I'm really happy about that. I killed the other one. That one was a little more difficult. I don't know why it was so much more difficult than the first one, but I did. Go ahead.
You do extra damage to enemies that are unawares. And
that's
the other
why
one,
then.
I think probably was aggro.
It knew I was coming because I had just killed its brother. Mm-hmm. And so I've got this poison cloud of poison happening, and I'm taking constant poison damage, even after both of these things are dead. And this dragonfly swoops down and just like bites me. And I'm like, really? You're a little dragonfly. You're really doing this? So I target the dragonfly, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine. I'm going to kill this dragonfly. And I'm just flailing about with my sword. And this dragonfly is just flying around laughing at me. And suddenly there's another dragonfly, and they're circling me. I'm still taking poison damage at this point, and I'm just swishing away, flailing wildly, trying to kill these dragonflies. And these dragonflies are giving me more trouble than the gargoyles or the wolves or anything so far. And finally, I'm like, these dragonflies have bested me. I must leave. I'm out of health blasts. I'm still taking poison damage. I'm like, okay, I've got to get to a site of grace. And the nearest site of grace is the wolf cave. So I am just at a full out sprint trying to get to the wolf cave. I had this much health left. And I got there, and I rest at the site of grace. And I'm so happy, just so pleased that I've survived. And I've left those dragonflies behind. And here we are at the wolf cave. I'm like, hey, Mom, let me show you this wolf cave I was telling you about. I think I'm ready for it now. So I go through the wolf cave, and I was much, much more prepared this time. I did pretty well, except the big wolf still got me. And I thought, okay, now I'm going to try my wolf summon that I got. I'm really excited about that. And they're going to fight my spectral wolves will fight the real wolves. And then I can backstab them while they're doing that. Great plan, right? Great plan. And so I hit the button for the wolf summon, and my lady does that same animation that she does when I try to use the arrows. And she just like checks her pockets for something that isn't there. And it's like, what's it's not there. And apparently I can't use it everywhere. I can only use it in certain places. What's the point of being able to summon spectral wolves if I can't do it whenever I want? And
think of it like the light in Destiny 2, right? Sometimes you can respawn when
Yeah.
you're light, but then there's dark zones where
Yeah.
you can't respawn. So it's like that.
well, I was real annoyed, and I was done at that point. I was so done. So I shut it down and threw my Xbox in the garbage, and deactivated my accounts, and just resigned from my job, and just I joined a convent in Italy.
What did I come back to?
This is the results of failing an Elden Ring have
I
done
was
this to Shaline.
so done. I was so done, Vendor. So done. But I really I want to play. I want to play again.
I'll just be over here basking in the glory of non-failure.
I want to play again. You know what didn't fail was Sea of Thieves and the new fort content.
Mm-hmm.
I went sailing with Vendor and Jess, and that was so much fun. I was really excited to gain a couple more levels and get a little bit more of the cherry blossom ship cosmetics.
Aww.
She's like over the moon
Mhm.
about the cherry blossom.
Very, very excited. The what's it called? The
Let's get
the
down to
anchor
business.
thing? The
Oh,
anchor thing.
sorry.
What's that piece of equipment
Capstan.
called? The capstan. The capstan, Rick, has got a little koi pond in it. What? It's so cute.
That's
They
awesome.
swim
It's so
around.
cute. And
Oh.
You'll see it. You'll see it tonight.
So there's more distractions for Shaline not to help with anything now.
the
Oh, totally.
the wheel has a little bonsai tree on it.
And it flutters in the wind.
It's so great. It's so
Huh.
great. But Vendor, do you want to tell them about our new emote that we got?
Yeah,
excited
yeah.
about that.
So as many of you may know, and those of you that don't know, last weekend was the 4th anniversary for Rare since they launched Sea of Thieves in 2018.
Jeez.
And it was a big day for them, right? 4 years. That's a long time, we know, because, we've been doing this
We've been
podcast
there. Yeah.
for a millennia. So last weekend was Rare's Sea of Thieves' 4th birthday. And as sort of a tribute, they released or made available once again the emote that everybody was up in arms about that you can only get in the 2nd season, which is the barrel emote. So
Barrel?
if you play Sea of Thieves and you're listening to the podcast and you haven't got the barrel emote, make sure that you go to talk to Lorena at the pub and get the barrel emote, because you know what? I'm not even sure if it's still available. I'm not even sure. But the barrel emote is back, and it is it's one of the most critical emotes in the game because it turns you into a barrel. Which, as you imagine, if you're tucking on somebody's boat, it's going to be really easy for you to disguise yourself in plain sight, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what Shaline was sort of.
Yeah. I believe it was Jess who cracked the Friar Tuck joke.
Enter the title for the episode, which has been a long time coming this evening.
Beautiful.
She
Just
made
beautiful.
Yeah, she made this Friar Tuck joke, and Shaline and I both lost ourselves. It was brilliant. It's probably one of the best jokes I've ever heard.
Mhm. It was wonderful.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, the new content, fortresses. Keep going, Shaline.
No, that was it for mine. I was trying to smoothly segue into yours.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, so the new content we played with Jess. It was really funny because we had signed on and we were going to do a fort, and Shaline hadn't joined us just yet. So it was Jess and I commandeering a brig, and we were going up to this fort, and all of a sudden, bam, I looked up over the side of the boat and there was a Reaper right next to us heading towards us. And it was really interesting because the two of us have we both signed on to multiple servers trying to find a server where there was no Reaper boat, because that's just standard practice. If you want to try to sail without any sort of griefing or combat. I'll say more so combat. Griefing is a whole different thing. So it was weird because like the first two servers that I signed on to both had a Reaper. The third one I signed on to, 2 Reapers. Fourth one I signed on to, 2 Reapers. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? There's never this many Reapers on the map. And I think it was because of the anniversary for Sea of Thieves. They were giving extra gold and rep for things. So everybody was flying the Reaper flag because they just wanted to up their Reapers, right? So it didn't necessarily have anything to do with the fact that people were wanting to be more spicy. It was just the fact of the event that was happening. So we ended up going the opposite direction. We let that Reaper have the fort. We went over to the west and we did another fort. Got the fort finished, started unloading the loot, and the Reapers rolled up. The same one. And we were like, what the heck? So I made the executive decision for our crew that they were probably going counterclockwise around the map to all the fortresses. And I said we should go back to the one that we were just at that we let them have. And we went back there, and after they finished the fortress that we were at, which we gave them the loot that we had, they went south and we went east. So my prediction was right, that they were going counterclockwise around the map to try to do the forts. So we sort of evaded them for the rest of our journey, accumulated a bunch of loot, turned it in. It was a grand time. We had lots of fun. And that was our Sea of Thieves play.
Can I tell the story real quick of when we played last Friday and we were cashing out? We had started like cashing in all the treasure chests, vendors dropping stuff on the pier, and all of a sudden this dude appears out of nowhere and like murder kills Shaline in a second.
I forgot about that.
So I start fighting him, and I do a backwards power lunge forward and like slice right through him, and he drops down dead. He almost killed me too, but I finally kill him. And Shaline in the text chat says something like, "What did you say?"
I called him a dirtbag. You
called him a dirtbag, and he types back, "No reason to be toxic."
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I was so annoyed.
It's so funny.
It was
like he ambushed us. Shaline's like, "Dirtbag." He killed it. And he's like, "There's no need to be toxic."
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. That you caught him and killed him because
you don't need to be toxic about it.
Yeah, that was a good sale though. Like I think we had a lot of fun, sale. And we got some pictures at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I might be able to cue those, but
yeah, I just wanted to tell that story. So
yeah,
Shaline will be toxic in a PvP environment.
Yeah, I mean, I was really mad.
Okay, let me see if I can
hilarious.
Open this and then.
Well, while you're pulling that up, do you mind if I go through the plugs?
Well, hold on because I've got the picture right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, for our audio listeners, this is the 3 of us sitting on the dock with Floof. I don't know if you can see him.
Yeah.
Floof peed on you.
They've added
before this.
Yeah. They've added this feature where you can sit on certain points on the boat and things like that, which I think is really cool. But yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, so we played a little bit of Sea of Thieves. I did actually get around to playing the new content. But I only half played it, so I have no idea what it's about. I joined on somebody's boat when they were like halfway through it, and I was really confused, and it was a little bit spoily. And very quickly to go through my gameplay, I did play Outer Worlds. As you guys know, I've hopped back into Outer Worlds, and this next set of time that I've spent since the last show has been absolutely fantastic. Parvati had her date with Junlei, and it was so romantic. As you know, we traveled all over the galaxy trying to find the right outfit and the right casserole and the right things to say and all of this stuff just for Parvati. Traveled an entire galaxy to make it perfect. And then she had this date in the kitchen on the boat or on the ship. And I went up to the kitchen and they were like talking and having this intimate conversation. And I was just like standing there like a creep. Just like hovering over.
I picture you like the gif with Kim Kardashian leaning out from behind the plant. Like
I was totally the chaperone in that affair. And I didn't know whether or not I was like supposed to talk to them or not. So I went up to the Parvati and I engaged the talk thing. And she literally just turned to me and she was like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you later." Like
Out of here.
Can't you see I'm a little bit busy right now? So that was a little unexpected. Yeah, and I'm progressing well through the main storyline. The Iconoclast, if you don't recall, is sort of the religious faction in the game.
That's right.
And I sided with the people in Stellar Bay on Monarch, which was less good for the Iconoclasts. So I ended up actually engaging in an all-out war with them. And I ended up having to kill all of them because they're hostile and they were outside of Stellar Bay. And the leader at Stellar Bay was like, "They're waiting for you to come in to like engage in combat." So unfortunately, I had my own Outer Worlds crusade going on there. And I finally got to Byzantium and I had a fashion show. Oh my gosh, it was brilliant. So I went to this fashion shop because when you get to a new location, you guys know what it's like in Fallout and all that place. You go check every square inch of the place out, right? So I stumble upon this fashion shop and this girl with fabulous gold lipstick is like, "Oh my God, let me look at you. Like, what is this drab, dreary rags you are wearing? No, this won't do. We have to design you an entirely new wardrobe. I need you to go out into the galaxy and find 7 different wardrobes of what I want you to look like and then come back and showcase them to me so that I can find something and design something that is nothing that anybody that lives here would ever expect."
I forgot about this quest.
It was the worst. I traveled all over Hell's Half Acre and back to try to get these wardrobes, and it was brutal because I had just broke down a bunch of stuff that I probably had, and I could have just done the quest right there in the shop. So that was like a whole thing. But I didn't realize at the end of that quest that before you even get the outfit, which she calls the Chimera, which I think is a little bit funny, she ends up getting killed.
Oh yeah.
By the guards because this new fashion is like blasphemy on the society that is Byzantium, right?
I forgot about that too.
So I walk into this shop. I'm all excited to get my new outfit. It's going to be beautiful. I'm going to look fabulous. Parvati's already got her new clothes on from her date with Junlei. And this woman is dead on the floor. She's just lying there, stiff as a board. And there's all these guards around her. And they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I just came for my new shirts." Like, like I had an order. Anyways, so I ended up getting in a fight with them because that's just where the dialogue goes. But the weird thing is that the shop security guards, which are the same company kind of thing, right? Halcyon Holdings or the board, they don't do anything. They just stand there. Just so weird, right? Anyways, so on the shelves of the shop, there's all these fabulous outfits and hats. There's hats everywhere. And I'm like, I wonder if I can take these. So I take one and the guard is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then there's always that dialogue option of like, "Nothing to see here," or like, "Here's a bribe." And then they're like, whatever. And then I go and I take another outfit and that engaged in an all-out war. Everybody in the whole colony was attacking me. It was a bad idea. So I reloaded the game. I reloaded the game because I really wanted every single outfit that she had in this shop. I wanted to shoplift every single thing. I mean, the woman's dead. She's not going to need it. She's not going to be making profit off it anymore, right?
Right.
So,
rightly, it's yours.
well, I mean, with the amount of work that I put in to get this new outfit, the
Right,
shop is basically mine. So I quietly shut the door to the shop the next time I loaded in, and I just like pew-pewed my way through those two guards and killed them without anybody seeing, and then I shoplifted all the outfits and all the hats, and now I have all these outfits, and it's so fabulous.
That is wonderful. I love that.
It was probably the height of my Outer Worlds game. And then I had to do this other quest where you have to go pick up a package for the fashion lady at the HHS parcel service. And I don't know if you played this quest line, Shaline, but you probably...
No, I didn't get that far.
Oh, it's so good. I'm just going to tell it because...
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
So
I am way past the spoiler embargo at this point.
So the fashion lady, before she died, she was like, okay, there's a package that I need you to pick up in order for me to make your costume or your new outfit. So I go to the HHS parcel service and I go to kiosk A, and the lady at kiosk A is like, oh, well, do you have a signed slip that says that you're a delegate to pick up this package? And I give her the signed slip, tongue twister. And she's like, oh, well, that's all well and good, but the package isn't here. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So she's like, yeah, the package is out for delivery right now. I'm like, okay, where is the package out for delivery? And she's like, oh, it's at this such and such place. So then I go to the place where the package is being delivered, and there's a note on the door saying that the package was out for delivery. We showed up and nobody was here to sign for the package, so it's been sent back to the distributor. So I go back to HHS parcel service and I'm like, look, I went to the place, there's a sign on the door, there's this note that says that it's been returned. Is the package here? And she's like, it could be here, but you're going to have to go to kiosk B in order to find out if it's actually here, because that's not my job. So then I go through the zigzag line thing in the parcel service over to kiosk B. And I go to the lady and I'm like, okay, do you have this package? And she's like, oh, yes, we have it. But for package pickup, that's in kiosk A. And I'll give you this slip and you have to give it to the person in kiosk A. So I go back through the zigzag of the line back to kiosk A. And I'm like, okay, if you don't give me this package, I'm going to blow this whole place to smithereens. Like, give me the package right now. And so she gives me the package finally, and that's when I go back to deliver it to the fashion lady, and that's when I find out that she's dead. But it was probably one of the best quest lines. It was so good.
That's brilliant. That's just brilliant.
And I went and speak to Phineas. Did part of the main quest. He's now in prison. I got to go bust him out. But I'm worried that there's that's the part of the final quest. So I'm trying to finish up all of the side quests in case that I can't finish those side quests once I start that quest with Phineas in breaking him out of prison. So I did find his gun. I don't remember. I did find his gun that shoots red or purple goop, and it's called Finn's Force. It's brilliant. It's so powerful. Works really good. And I also discovered the moon mask, which...
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I had no idea was a thing. I've been playing this whole time, and I could have been walking around with a whole moon head.
Yes.
So...
Yep.
So that's my gameplay.
Forgot about that mask.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, that's a show, boys and girls. Thank you all for listening. Any plugs or announcements from either of you?
I have one. I would like to just shout out our lovely friend Jess that we were talking about earlier. She has started a new YouTube channel that is called Video Game Poetry, and she is doing poetry readings on the backdrop of video game footage, which is really, really neat. She did Ozymandias over some Assassin's Creed Origins footage. It was really, really good. So
Nice.
definitely check out Jess and her new channel.
Okay. And how can people find that channel?
You can go to YouTube and look for video game poetry.
Oh, okay. Don't forget our show is also sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you go to oakandcrow.com, you can find our artisan coffee blend, which is called We Just Love Coffee, and $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. If you would like to send us a story about your gameplay or anything video game related, or what you think of the show, etc., you can email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. You can also find us on Twitter. We are at We Just Love Games, Shaline at Shaline L, myself at Vendertron N. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/groups/We Just Love Games. We are also on the Discord, Chat After Dark. If you would like to join us, you can scroll right down below Rick if you're listening live right here on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. The link is available there. We record the show live every Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and any other podcast platform that you can think of. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. And thank you all for listening. Rick, do you have a last word?
Brandish the Elden Ring for us all.
Good night, guys.